I saw it on the boardwalk in Wildwood. They had a movie theater there.
They still have movie
That's where it belongs. That's exactly where that movie belongs.
I saw it right after I ate my funnel cake. I was a little white kid looking for a big white superhero.
She was awesome.
I'm right there with
ass, you. Dude. She was kick ass. She gave 0 fucks.
Very well done with the comedy.
Stick around, 'cause I am coming back. And I know someday I'm gonna make it big.
Talk about shit we talk about anyway. Just
Seriously.
That's the plan. That's the dream. But anyway.
Wouldn't it be great to get paid for this?
All right, let's get to the show. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie Show. I am John.
Nick.
And I am Jamie.
Gentlemen, we went out. We went out and about. We held hands and strolled through the doors of the movie theater on Thursday night, opening night of the Black Panther. So we were really stoked. This is obviously part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is movie 18 over the past 10 years in Phase 3, right? So we've got introduced with Tony Stark 10 years ago in Iron Man 1. They've evolved these characters. We're culminating up into Infinity War, and the latest installment is Black Panther. Now, right off the bat, and this is something that I think Marvel has done incredibly well, is taking these properties that nobody really wanted. Nobody wanted Black Panther. I mean, they did Blade before they did the Black Panther.
Blade was pretty badass.
Blade was awesome.
First two.
Yeah. Well, Trinity had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah,
But it
wasn't as good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like the second one was awesome.
They should bring back Blade.
But do you get a new Blade? Or do you
dude, I don't know. Wesley Snipes is pretty awesome.
But he's pretty old now. Do you think he can still pull it off?
I don't know. See, that's one thing though that I would bring back. You know what I mean? I told you I was against like the whole please don't bring back to the Future thing, but I'd bring back Blade.
Did I? I didn't do it. I'm just going to tell you. I was joking around with Nick, and I said I'm gonna mock up in Photoshop a fake article that says they're redoing Back to the Future. And send it with you and have him starring like Justin Bieber or somebody.
Somebody to really piss me off.
I would have loved that. He was telling me, I said, you got to do it. You got to do it.
He was, and the thing about the Black Panther, he was the OG black superhero, right? Especially in the Marvel universe. He came before Falcon. He came before Luke Cage. 1966, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. They introduce
Silver Surfer, right? It was not Silver Surfer, but in
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. That's what I meant. Yeah,
issue
absolutely.
52, and he's a pretty interesting character. But back to what I was talking about is that Marvel has a way of we forget like. Iron Man wasn't as popular as the X-Men or Fantastic Four, or if you flip over to the DC side, Batman. But now he's the center of this Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's kicked it off.
Did you see the picture they just released with all the everybody in Infinity War? And guess who's front and center? It's Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. with... I guess the guy who's all behind
Kevin Feige.
They're sitting in the middle between all these 30-some actors, all of them in the picture. And even he said that Tony Stark, he said any one of them could be up here in the middle. But they put me up here. Because it all started with, let's be honest, I mean, Iron Man, still the first one, is still fantastic.
I was blown away. I did not... put much stock in Iron Man. Interesting character. One of the first comics I ever grabbed off a spinner rack way back in the day when I was a kid, but never like latched onto it. Like I was going into series with all the other stuff.
If you were, because you guys are both huge comic guys, and if you were to tell me the Avengers before 10 years ago, which Avenger would you guys most want to see?
They really pushed Captain America.
Well,
out of
they
all the
did. I'm talking
Avengers.
about you growing up. Was it the Hulk?
Hulk.
Probably
yeah.
the Hulk,
Yeah,
right?
Hulk was pretty cool. He was dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that out because if it wasn't the Hulk, then when I was a kid, none of them.
Right.
Yeah, they're kind of like Iron Man. If you remember, he's like kind of like plain Jane. You know what I mean? It was like a
Well, he's kind of a dick all the time too.
yeah. Well, he was arrogant. He was.
Yeah.
He had an ego on him.
He was and unrelatable to me because he was just. I mean, not that any of these people are relatable, but unrelatable in the sense that I did think it was interesting because they actually did a series where they addressed his alcoholism, and he was drunk and but it was like boo hoo, you're a billionaire, yeah, you're a billionaire and you have an alcoholism problem, and you have a super suit and everything. I guess it just doesn't connect with me or resonate with me when I was a kid.
But that's why, what's his face? God, brain is fried right now. The guy who's playing him,
Robert Downey.
Robert Downey, he was so perfect for the role. It just,
Absolutely.
He is Tony Stark.
He is. I mean, you think of Robert
He's a
Downey.
legit Tony Stark.
How many other movies has he made? And you're like, the first thing you think about him is
Weird Science, dude.
Right.
Weird fucking Science.
Right. You can go back to Weird Science, but if you think of Robert Downey
With a
Jr.
bra on his head.
right now, you're going
Yeah, Tony Stark.
Iron Man.
Yeah, Weird Science. Didn't he like shit in Kelly LeBrock's trailer? Like,
Did he
stake it
really?
up? Yeah, that's like one of the stories.
Well, he was out of control back in the day.
Oh, he was a drug addict and all that.
Yeah, I mean, Less Than Zero. That movie, like, I don't think he was even acting in that movie.
That movie was awesome.
What movie was this?
Weird
It's James Spader, Robert Downey Jr., and it was the '80s kind of Rat Pack.
Yeah,
and,
John Hughes type deal.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
and it deals with these like Beverly Hills rich kids and their kind of like out of control lifestyle, and it's centered, and a lot of it has to do with Robert Downey's drug dependence, his drug addiction.
So real life.
Oh, it's it's art imitating life for sure. But he's definitely. But again, back to the point. These characters and what Marvel's been able to do with them and bring them to life, it culminates in each one of these success stories with every one of these movies. And Black Panther is just yet another way that Marvel's managed to pull it off.
Yeah, I'll tell you, going into that movie, I was really surprised. It was really good because how they wrote that, they went into the whole social unjust thing, but they didn't jam it down your throat. They put it into the story in a tasteful way.
Agreed.
Like Star Wars?
Yeah, like Star Wars, where that's a good example. Star Wars,
One.
yeah, when they did that in Star Wars, like it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
It really even had, if you think about it, it really had nothing to do with the fucking movie.
Yeah.
No,
it was kind
you're
of annoying.
absolutely right.
Like they jammed it in there, and you're like, cool, we're back to reality. Thanks.
But
Yeah.
but this was part of the. It had to be part.
Oh
of the
yeah,
movie.
and it was really well done how they did that with the brother and coming back. I mean, I was very happy with that movie. It was really good.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Not my favorite Marvel movie, but I was pleasantly surprised because, like you guys, we didn't really know nothing about Black Panther. I mean, I didn't read the comics, and you guys said I believe you guys said you didn't read them either. So outside Civil War, we didn't know what to expect. So
Yeah, he was always a part of a team to me. You know?
Yeah, he was. He was just like an afterthought, sidekick, if you will.
and so if you think about it, it's like, and if you really look at how well rounded a character he is, he's really an interesting character and a badass, like a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Like he's the king of a nation that has managed to
Cloak themselves,
not get invaded by any colonization or anything,
not get involved.
they thought they were like a third world goat feeding herding country. I mean, at the end, the extra credits. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah.
They're like the United Nations is like, well, you're a third world country. How are you going to help us?
Yeah, which is fantastic, right? So and if you think about it too, it's like, so if you think the T'Challa, right? He's the Prince of Wakanda. His dad dies, and it's all done in Civil War, so I'm not spoiling anything. His dad dies. He then inherits the throne, and by inheriting the throne, he now becomes the king of a nation, right? So he's super smart, super strong with the Black Panther powers. He's got technology out the wazoo. It's the most technologically advanced country in the world.
I say his suit is it's better than Tony Stark's, except that it can't fly.
Yeah.
But everything else, the suit, it's vibranium or vibranium.
Vibranium, yeah.
I mean, and it stores kinetic energy and bursts it out. I mean, that's just total badass.
Yeah, it was really cool. And the thing about it, if you think about it, he's really well rounded, and he's got to be a diplomat on top of everything else. So
the other guys don't.
Yeah, so you can tell there's a social relevance to it. But to your point, Jamie, it's like they are not fisting this up your ass, right? They're not heavy-handed with it. It's just told really artfully.
Yeah, they should really use this as an example when they make other movies. Like, this is what people want to watch. They don't want to watch some bullshit where you're going to jam it down everybody's throat. Mm-hmm. They're going to the movies to forget things, you know what I mean? And if you're going to bring it up in a tasteful way. Mm-hmm. And Black Panther does that.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And not one-sided either, right?
No.
It's a country... So if you think about it, right, there's a lot of social relevance to it when they talk to it. It's like, especially, and it's timely, right? Here you got this nation that has basically already built a wall.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right? It's already built a wall. It's already, it doesn't want wants to remove itself from social responsibility with the rest of the world, right? And then it also, but it also has its internal struggles, right? There's these separate tribes that they have their own internal kind of civil war, not unlike the dynamic of the United States currently, right? Without the sophistication and everything that's depicted in the movie. But it doesn't beat you over the head with it.
No.
You can enjoy the movie without dealing with all the other stuff. Yeah. Even though if you really look into it, it's all there. Like, I get what you guys are both saying.
Yeah, you get to see the true dynamics of the character, like you were saying. I mean, he is like smart, diplomatic, and one hell of a warrior.
He's a badass.
Yeah, he is a badass,
and he struggled the whole time through the whole movie about what to do as king. He was like, I just want to keep it status quo, but he knew he didn't feel that way, but he felt like he had to go that way. It's if I'm making any sense, it's like he wanted to open up, but he felt like scared to open up to the world to find out what might happen. Mm-hmm. But you felt that struggle through him through the whole movie because he wanted to be like his father, and then he finds out. Hopefully,
By the way, we're going to spoil some
crap out of this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
we're talking about the movie. There's no way we can't.
We're going to spoil the shit out of it.
But it's just crazy.
Go watch the movie,
right? Before you listen to us.
Yeah,
crazy how his character changed. I mean, and there was a big turning point, obviously, when you find out what his father really did to create the bad guy in this movie. His father created this issue. So it was just the growth of the Black Panther was just phenomenal.
Did you guys notice, or I'm sure you did, but did you guys pick up on all the parallels as far as the dynamics between Tony Stark and T'Challa?
No.
So Tony Stark's dad started Stark Industries. Iron Man 1. They basically his weaponry was kind of came back and bit him, but it bit him in the ass. All right, it got into the hands of these terrorists or terror factions in these third world countries. And if you think about so it was his father's industry and Tony Stark to a certain extent, which instigated this backlash that fucked him in the end, or throughout. It was a strong point of the story plot, right? Mm-hmm. Tony Stark just keeps doing it, though, right? In the beginning, it was his dad with Stark Industries, and then he creates Ultron, he creates Whiplash, all these sort of things.
He never learns from his mistakes.
Yeah, they were all things that were. It was karma coming back and biting him in the ass. In Black Panther, his dad creates Killmonger.
Oh yeah.
And that comes back to bite him in the ass. That's my point. That's the parallel.
Well, you think too, like even the previous kings, they fed into it as well because they didn't help with the outside world. And it just culminated into the point where they had no choice but to intervene.
Yeah.
in the end. You know, it's
And with Infinity War coming up, you would assume that they're going in that direction where they would open it up, which does open it up a whole new book for Marvel, because you think about going forward, they're releasing this country that has all this technology advancement greater than even the United States or Shield or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been on Earth this whole time, and they have the one spot where vibranium is most prevalent. It's going to be a big deal.
yeah, there could be an Iron Man suit out of vibranium.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't think about that.
Oh, I did.
Totally.
The first thing I thought of was when they showed the Winter Soldier, spoiler alert, at the end, they're going to
Shield.
make a new arm out of vibranium.
Because he said, get that
Why
man
not?
a shield.
Yeah, why not?
So if you think about it, though, so they call, that's the end credit scene, right? They call Winter Soldier Bucky. They call him White Wolf, right? So that's a nod to a character that's actually in the Black Panther lore or map.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So White Wolf is T'Challa's in the comics is T'Challa's older adopted brother, and he's white, and so he's Caucasian, and he's a character that's really gets adopted by T'Challa or T'Chaka, his father, and what happens, I believe I'm getting this right, when his parents' plane went down and they were both killed in Africa, and he was adopted. But he's kind of this voice of Wakanda in the comics. Like he's very patriotic, to where T'Challa is a little bit more on the liberal side. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was an interesting nod, because I didn't know what they were. What's the relevance? All right, so Bucky gets shown in the after credits scene,
Which we already knew he was there. If you watch End of the Civil War, that's where they took him.
Yeah, so I read an article and they said it was the way that they made Bucky whole again, because they were going to put him in stasis and try and fix his brain, because if you say those magic words, it makes him a killing machine.
Yeah,
so we got to stop that.
Yeah, obviously.
Because you don't need that.
For obvious reasons. Unless you program Thanos in there as the key word.
So I think it was two things they were doing. They were making him whole again, and then also did a little nod to the White Wolf character in the comics. But I mean, overall, I was thinking about, and I love to do this. I love to rank them. Now, 18 films. It gets a little muddy. But if I was going, Guardians is going to be my number one.
Yeah.
The first
I'm
one.
with you.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, it's something about that movie. It's
awesome.
Beats. I love it.
The
Love
first
it.
one we're talking about,
The
right?
first one. Yeah. The second one doesn't even crack my top 5.
No.
So I go Guardians 1, Captain America, Winter Soldier, the Avengers, and the only reason it's Avengers is because of I think about how I felt when I saw certain scenes of a team.
Where the panoramic.
Yeah.
So we'll get back on Black Panther real quick.
Yeah.
I saw a thing how they were filming the fight scene in the casino, and you would think it would be separate scenes. No, it was all one big shot. They were
Wow.
going around, and while there was 4 different fights. They were panoramic going around trying to get all the angles. They must have probably reshot that 100 times, but it's just cool that they were trying to get all the fight scenes going at once, so the angles would be perfect.
Yeah, I like how they brought the claw in there, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy Serkis, man, he's amazing, right? There's he usually plays some CG character in all these movies, but he's a hell of an actor, and him coming out and
He did Gollum, didn't he?
Gollum, he did Planet of the Apes, he was
Snoke.
Caesar, he was Snoke.
Yeah.
He's like king of CG.
Yeah.
Right? But
Get
it
a
was
paycheck, man.
oh, dude, the
Done.
guy's been doing it since Gollum.
Man,
so-
I wish they asked him why he died so shitty in Jedi.
yeah, at least he died like a man in this one.
Yeah, seriously.
He was actually good. I liked his character.
Oh, yeah.
He was kind of weird, kooky. I liked it.
Speaking of giving nods, Michael B. Jordan, he was really good in that, man.
Yeah.
He played an awesome villain. The only one I didn't buy was the dad in This Is Us. As they had him, but I guess it's because they had him playing like a gangster because he was there as a Wakanda spy.
Oh, yeah.
But could you see him being gangster? I'd be like, nah, dude. All I see him as
You
is
mean as the uncle?
yeah. As I can see him as the dad working a corporate job as a lawyer or
'Cause
whatever.
he doesn't look like a gangster
No,
dude
he
at all.
does not put that off at all. He's just
I was waiting for him to roll that tear too.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
came a little later, but it did come.
I was like, dude, they're always like that.
Yeah, the Cuba Gooding Jr. thing.
Yeah, he's like fantastic at that scene. They'll do a close up, and I wish I could remember the actor's name. He's a hell of an actor. They roll right up on his face, and it's like doesn't even blink. The tear just pops out. It's like the old school Demi Moore.
He's going to
cry.
need that. In This Is Us, man. He needs that. It's queued up.
Dude, that's not good.
Yeah, so amazing story. Although the Michael B. Jordan character, Killmonger, great way they created him as a villain, right? But I wasn't all the way in. Like I wasn't.
Need a more backstory.
Yeah, like I
you
didn't
wish they
love
should.
him. I mean, I knew he was a bad dude. But I didn't hate him, right? But I also empathized with him, but not really much. I didn't give a shit enough about him for him to be real compelling for me. And he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah, well, I think they couldn't have gone in too deep because that movie was already pretty long.
A lot of story.
It might have got cut out, probably in the outtakes or whatever. The extra scenes are probably more on that. But I'm with you, John, on that a little bit. I didn't feel like usually villains you kind of have like not a hatred towards, but like you're like, all right, I'm glad. I didn't get that from him. I mean, he's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel like I normally would like Iron Man. If we're gonna rate, like the villain in that was
Jeff Bridges.
he was just so good at
Yeah.
being, and it kind of took you when you first watched it. Took you as, oh wow, he's the bad guy, because it's Jeff Bridges, you know what I mean? But I didn't get that feeling. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're right, because Jeff Bridges does that slow saunter when he first puts that sound device. Then he does it to the terrorist first, and then he does it to Tony later.
Yeah.
And you're like, his slow saunter and his mannerisms, you're like, this motherfucker, he's evil, man.
Yeah.
He's not the dude.
No.
yeah.
He's the exact. Give this guy a white Russian, damn it.
He's not abiding by anything.
No.
Evil.
And that's why he's phenomenal actor. Not saying that
Michael B. Jordan.
is not. I just think there's just maybe because over time, it's just he just created that persona. It was just really well done in Iron Man.
And I like him playing this superhero character more than his Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four.
Why do you got to bring that up? That movie should never be brought up again.
That movie's bad.
It's bad. I can't. Hopefully, Disney can do something with that.
I want a good Fantastic Four movie
Real quick, I
Yeah.
read that Transformers is actually getting redone.
without Michael Bay.
Can they just shut it down? Stamp that. We're good, dude.
They need to take it. He needs to get kicked out of the
Bury
Actors
it.
Union.
They need to bury it, dude.
They're doing more G.I. Joe too. They're going to redo G.I. Joe.
It would be. So,
Oh my god, they're redoing GI Joe too.
I love G.I. Joe growing up. I just don't know how you really make a good movie out of that.
You can't.
So
You can't. That's one of those things you just don't touch, dude. That's fire. Don't touch it. You'll get burned.
So I've been thinking about what we've been talking about, like this conundrum. Like, there's stuff that we want that tickles that little nostalgic part of our brain that we would love to see, remade and brought back and everything. And then there's stuff that we're like, just put it to bed. And then there's a next tier, right, which is hallowed ground, right? You just don't ever touch it, right?
Well, they did. They touched Star Wars and they fucked it up.
Yeah. Well,
Force Awakens. I mean,
Well, that would be, but
the Jedi one. Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Oh yeah. That's another one.
Yeah, that's hallowed ground. Don't touch it.
Exactly.
Right?
Ghostbusters. I keep bringing that
Yeah.
up. And they always blame it on having like a woman cast. That has nothing to do with it.
No.
That was shit writing.
Yep.
It was shit writing. If you had women as the characters, that's fine. Just do better writing.
did you burn it like after you saw it?
I
You
was just-
really have like
No, because
a hard on against this
it
movie.
was terrible. And like, I feel bad for the women who played those characters because they get bashed, and it's not their fault.
Yeah, they're
They didn't write
mega
that
talents,
shit,
man.
Yeah, they are. They're all mega talents, and they did shitty writing.
Never
Yeah.
will watch that movie. Not because what you
you
said.
got-
I just going into it. I was a huge Ghostbuster fan, and I could just never go away from it. It was probably my favorite movie as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
Just loved Ghost, the original, the first one, not the second one.
I saw it on the boardwalk in Wildwood. They had a movie theater
Do
there.
they
at
still
one
have
point.
movie
That's where it
theaters there?
belongs. That's exactly where that movie
I
belongs.
saw it right after I ate my funnel cake.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to your point about rating the Marvel universe the last 10 years, because I think it's a good way to go because it's been 10 years and we're coming up on Infinity War, and I think why not rate the top 5 for all of us?
So yeah,
keep going.
Good point. So my top 5 is Guardians, Captain America, Winter Soldier, the Avengers, because I just think that ensemble for the first time and seeing that interaction, that just blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Civil War, I think that the Russo brothers did a phenomenal
Just
job.
at the airport scene was awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then Black Panther. Black Panther was really good.
It was. It was damn good.
Yeah, and the reason, and because when I first got out of the movie, I didn't have time to digest, so I was like, and then I start combing through my brain and start hitting on the memories and start thinking about how sophisticated the story was and how they had just art direction alone. Like they had an impossible task of getting African culture or heritage woven in to superheroes and not fuck it up.
And they did a marvelous job. Not the
Yeah, pun intended.
no pun intended, but now you're going to have the African American culture getting sucked into this universe. Not that they probably weren't already, but then you're going to grab even more. Like, I mean,
Yeah, well, that comes in that's my point too, is that usually they make the black character like a sidekick, or they don't dump that much money into it, and it's like some shitty setup. This one was done very well, and I think Black Panther is like in my top 3. Honestly,
wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and you touched on Falcon. Falcon's, the black
Falcon's
character.
an awesome character.
He's an awesome character, but he's still Cap's sidekick.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think he should ever have a movie. I just don't feel that about his character, but Black Panther totally pulled it off. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
but
has everything.
Yeah, but could you say that about Black Panther after seeing the last movie? Like, would you think that they could make a Black Panther?
After Civil War, I could have said that.
Yeah,
Before
I
Civil
agree.
War, I probably would have said no.
Yeah, I would have definitely said no. I was shocked when they even brought it up as a character that they were going to make a movie out of. I was like, and again, this is my personal bias because I was a little white kid looking for big white superheroes. So I didn't have, and he was always a part of an ensemble. So I never sought it out as something that was something that I would invest in. And just a sign of the times. But hell yeah, man, I could see him carrying many movies.
So what's your 5, Jamie? Then I'll go because you already said you'll put.
I
it in the top.
say Guardians. It'd be Guardians, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, and then Avengers, Civil War.
Yeah,
I'd say Civil War before Avengers. Avengers would be like 5.
Really?
Yeah, Avengers is good, but I think those like I'm telling you, Winter Soldier was sick. Man.
Oh, we
Dude, Winter Soldier was badass.
that movie was.
and you didn't have anybody with major superpowers.
You could just
in it. It
call
was
that
just-
you could call that an Avengers movie pretty much. I mean that movie was
Elevator scene.
Oh, that's the. I'm sorry, that is the best scene in the whole. I still haven't seen a better scene in Marvel.
that movie is quote unquote legit.
He's like, "Do you guys want to get off before we get started?"
Yeah.
And they're all looking around like,
he took out all 8 inches, or just enough to smash him on the head
it
with.
was awesome. Mine would be Guardians. I think we're all at a united front about Guardians. You can't speak. Winter Soldier would be number 2, but actually I would throw Iron Man in there just because it started it all. I have to go that way, and it is a fantastic movie. It's granted the other ones are probably better, but it started it all. I got to give a nod to that, and then
good call.
And I actually liked the Last Tour.
Oh yeah,
I really liked it. I thought
That
it-
comes out by the way on DVD in a couple days.
It
20th.
does. It does. I just really liked it.
It's a great movie.
Then I probably would go Black Panther, but the Last Story was I was the whole interaction between the Hulk and him. I just that planet they were on. I thought it was awesome. Just
Yeah.
well created and how they made it like almost like a Planet Hulk. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a nice respite from the comedy, right?
Yeah.
It was a funny movie.
It was. Every Thor movie seemed to get better and better and better. At least I believe.
Yeah.
You know,
While
like
every Iron Man got worse.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
When did Favreau stop those?
After two, I think.
Two?
Yeah,
I think.
2 wasn't good. I didn't.
I
really,
thought 2 was good.
That's a good question. I'm not sure if he stopped after the first one or the second one. I'm not sure. But he was a big fan of the practical effects. Like he wanted, rubber and latex and all that stuff because he thought it just lent better to filming.
Yeah.
And then when ILM did the first demo of Tony Stark's suit, he was like, "Oh, that's good. How did you get the mechanics right?" Thinking they were still practical effects and not CG. He's like, "No, it's CG." He's like, "Oh, what?"
That's really good.
Yeah, and it was, and like I look at, and this is where we dip into some hate too. It's like I look at the way they did, the way Tony continues to get into his Iron Man suit, and the way they break it down. You're like, it's still lends to this believability. And you look at all the money they spent on Transformers, and it doesn't. For some reason, it doesn't translate. It's not like the mechanics of their CG on the Transformers. It's too much almost.
Yeah.
To where
I
I can't even follow it anymore.
Well, and they keep switching the damn characters. Like all of a sudden now, Mark Wahlberg's like the head guy. Like it was like Shia LaBeouf. Like not that he's like my favorite actor. I think he did an all right job in the first one. It's just, and then Megan Fox has switched to I don't know who the hell's in it now.
I mean,
I think she's a Victoria's Secret model.
And by God, man, Megatron, he's an F-14 and a big laser gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's nothing else. Stop it. You know what I mean, dude? I'm done. I'm not watching anymore.
And I was fine with the Megan Fox thing in the first one. I was fine with that.
Even with her short thumbs.
What?
Dude, she's hot as shit. Short
she's
thumbs
beautiful.
are nothing.
Well,
Whatever.
I was fine with the hot chick in the first one. I love Megan Fox. We all do. She's beautiful.
She's stunning.
But after that, who cared?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You already have my ticket, too.
Yeah.
You already have my ticket. And then when he just went for, I didn't like the storylines one from the next. You look at Marvel; they kind of link everything in a very sophisticated way. Transformers, you have this cube in the first one that's like the hope of after the first one, they really never bring it. They bring it up a little bit in the second one, then it goes away. Then there's all these other problems in the
It's a
history.
mess,
It's like
dude.
there's no linkage. It's just
It's called cashing in, dude.
yes,
Yeah. It's a
And
mess.
Say we're gonna get this money off these dribbling idiots. You know what I mean? Like this is ridiculous.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bayed out.
Loved him.
We got to get
The
T-shirts.
guy
made.
got to go.
Do away with the Bay.
Like he gets bashed every time a movie comes out, but the movie makes. Actually, the last movie got crushed. I didn't even see the last one, but
Was that the Fallen or something like that?
Last Night or something,
Yeah.
or something like that. See, that's how bad it was. We don't even know
Well, I think we're blocking it out of our brains.
because it killed me. It's again one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and you just destroyed it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for when are they coming out with Thundercats the movie?
There you go.
That's gonna
That'd be
happen.
cool.
Like it's gonna
They're
happen.
redoing He-Man. Weren't we talking about that
Yeah.
in text? We were communicating. They're going to redo He-Man somehow.
He-Man, it's kind of hard.
You'd have to do it as like a comedy. That's the only
That
way.
would be the great, and have
That'd
Will
be the-
Ferrell be He-Man.
Well, that. But I'm saying that'd be the only like good approach to that. You know what I
You
mean?
guys saw the original Masters of the Universe
with
movie.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dolph
oh my
Lundgren.
God, that was so
Pretty
bad.
But
It's up there with Howard the Duck.
Howard. Yeah, but that.
When he
those
makes
are,
an appearance in one of the Marvel movies, he's like,
Those are guilty
was he a
pleasures.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yes, that's hilarious.
yeah, you didn't mind seeing the duck titties.
Yeah, I hear Howard the Duck is really the one that's going to bring down Thanos. In the next
I believe it, dude. He managed to be a duck and get like a human girlfriend. So why not?
Wasn't that Michael J. Fox's mom?
oh, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Was
I'm
it?
pretty sure that was her mom in
Meredith
Back to the
Baxter. Oh, and
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Leah. I can't remember her name.
Leah Thompson or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I'm
think.
pretty sure she was the woman in Howard the Duck, wasn't she?
Oh, I gotta go.
It's
back.
been a long time since
That's a Steven
they
Spielberg
nailed-
movie.
Yeah, they
Was it
nailed.
really?
Or mate, Steven. I think it's Steven Spielberg and
He can't be the one.
Nah, you're right.
or was it George Lucas?
I think it was George Lucas and Spielberg. But think about that. Leah Thompson got nailed twice, right? So she bestiality and incest. And incest. What the hell?
She went to a dark
Yeah.
place. So, Black Panther. Favorite parts or favorite characters?
Oh, the general. She was badass, dude.
Michonne.
She was awesome.
I'm right there with
ass, dude. She was kick ass. She gave zero fucks, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That
She was even going to kick her boyfriend's ass.
I know, and she.
This is why
she
you got-
stands in front of the
Yeah.
rhinoceros.
This is why you got to catch up on The Walking Dead, my friend. She's
Yeah.
so good in it.
She carries. a
She's
lot
in
that
Walking
movie.
Dead. No, listen.
She's in
I
the
almost,
third season. I think she shows up. Third.
I think so.
I almost skinned that smoke wagon, quote unquote, last night. And then I was like, oh man, I was like, dude, you're gonna open up I was already tired. I was like, don't do it, idiot.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
you wouldn't have been fresh, man, for today.
No, I probably wouldn't have made it. They'd have to like wheelbarrow me in here.
Nah,
so
but she was
think
good.
about this. So she is awesome in this movie. Matter of fact, the whole female cast in this movie is such a presence and carries so
Yeah,
much.
Maz was good too.
Yeah, that
She plays
Nwa-
Maz's voice. was her-
Nwanga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how she was like a big to do like a couple years ago. She was really good in this movie.
Yeah,
She won an Oscar.
She was Shuri, I think.
Yeah,
She
won
looked
an
damn
Oscar.
good, too,
I liked
by
the
the way.
sister too. She was pretty funny, and I liked how she was like this mad scientist behind
She's
all
Q from
Yeah.
James Bond.
Was she?
No,
really?
she's not really, but that's
Yeah,
the
that's
same
the,
thing, right?
exactly
Yeah.
same thing. Yep.
I liked her character when she's like, anybody want to challenge? She goes, I do, and they're like, what?
And then there's I like and so the comedy that they did pepper in, I thought was really good. Like they had this nice little playful relationship, it's almost like this sibling like relationship, and she records him while he gets the vibranium kickback, and sends him to the ground. So I thought they peppered, some comedy in there. As far as comedy, who stole the show? It was M'Baku.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he was hilarious.
It was, and he was very not underutilized, but not a big part. But I think it was heavy, and then you meet him, and you're like,
Marvel's always done a
this is
good
fantastic.
job at introducing the comedy
Yeah.
subtly, like what they did in Thor, the last Thor. It was very well done with the comedy. Even the Avengers at the end, where the Hulk beats the shit out of Loki, he goes, "Puny God."
And then they could do a callback when Thor gets the shit kicked out of him,
Yep.
and Loki's in the stands.
You know how it feels, or something like that. Yes, it's. I just like how they do it, man. Marvel just really has their finger on the button, the pulse on the finger on their pulse.
Yeah.
They just know it so well. Like they do this Black Panther movie, and they just touch the hearts of everybody. Man, it's just well done.
It's a very well played symphony. They put these guys in there that are these directors that are really talented, and they get it. I mean, just looking over the Black Panther history, they included so much, and it was one of those things where, Guardians of the Galaxy, there wasn't a lot of history that people were invested in, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But now you have this character that's 50 years old, and they really touched on the notes that make him who he is, which T'Challa and the Black Panther, and they just wove it into this really well done movie. So we're all in agreement. The general is definitely did some show stealing there.
Oh yeah.
What is her name?
Her name is
real name.
I wrote it down. I think it's pronounced Denai Guerrera. She's actually from Zimbabwe.
She is.
She's legit African.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought wasn't she in like a Shonda Rhimes?
I'm not sure.
She was in a movie.
She,
back.
she was in
might
like a
have-
show, I think.
She's talented as fuck, man. So whoever has them on has her on the cast is just
Well, in
lucky.
Walking Dead, she practices with a sword master.
Oh well, she as a physical actor, she is on point, like
Yeah.
just unbelievable. In The Walking Dead, Jamie, this is how she gets introduced, right? She has a sword. She's got these long ass braids and dreads.
Samurai sword. Is
Samurai
badass.
sword, right? And she's walking with two zombies on leashes, chains.
With their arms and their mouths cut out.
So
they can't bite anybody.
She camouflages herself and can walk amongst the dead, because if they smell you, they don't attack you if they smell that you're dead. So she'll basically have the chain and have these two neutered zombies in tow behind her, and she just walks in like a fucking badass, man. And that's how you get introduced to her.
Actually, for a while, you don't even know who she is. They just show this shadowy figure walking around with two zombies, and you're like, "What? Who the fuck is this person?" It's really
all right.
well done.
I'm gonna watch the damn thing. All right,
And we're gonna hassle you until
We're
you
sinking
do.
hooks.
She's a great. There's so many good characters in Walking Dead, but that's for another episode. Why don't we get back to the point?
We are going to tee up Walking Dead in the future. So definitely highly recommend. I want to start introducing. I don't even have to officially introduce it, but it's what we do, right? Rewatch factor. Mm-hmm. This to me, high rewatch value. High rewatch value, and that's how kind of I rate these movies. And how about for you guys? Definitely going to give it another go.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch it a couple times.
Yeah.
This is up there, like around like Civil War or Winter Soldier. It's damn good.
A purchase?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I buy them all, even if they kind of suck.
Just to have them in your library.
Yeah.
So here's a flip. What's your 5 worst?
Oh, 5 worst?
It's going to be pretty much all that. Are we talking Marvel?
Just Marvel. We just did the
Okay.
5 best. We'll just do the 5 worst in the last 10. Well, 3 worst. We'll just do 3
All
worst
right,
because
let
that
me,
can really.
let me look
So
at
I
the
sent you
list
that
here.
list.
Yeah,
So
I'll
I have
put
the
my
list
list.
right in front of me. So when you guys pull it up, I'll just shoot from the hip. I'm gonna go 5 worst. I'm gonna go Iron Man 3, then 2,
Okay.
and then I'll go. I want to say Thor 1.
I agree with that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go.
And hold on, I got 2 more left.
Okay.
Then
Come off, Jamie, man.
Then I'll go.
I thought we were doing 3.
I thought we were doing 3 too.
Oh, just 3?
No, go
Sorry.
ahead. Do 5. Do 5.
5?
Fine.
I got the list in front of me. I thought we were doing 5. And then after that, I'll go. You know what? I'm just going to stick with the 3.
All right.
It's a struggle after that. I don't want to dead air while I think about it. How about you guys? You ready?
Jamie, go first, man.
I'm going Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Hulk I could have really done without.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is that a Marvel? Though? Oh, we'll keep it in there.
Ant-Man.
Really?
Yeah, not really a big fan.
It's a heist movie.
I liked it.
Iron Man 2.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm going to say Spider-Man Homecoming, number 5. Because, like, I am
Done.
sick of the damn Spider-Man remakes.
Yeah, I
But you
agree.
got to wash your brain, man. You got to wash your brain and take all the other shit out of there and just treat it like its own thing.
All right, it's okay. Listen, I'm okay.
It's
with-
fair. It's a fair criticism.
It's okay. It's just I'm really sick of them like redoing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand why they redid the Hulk, right? Because the first one sucked. So then they redid.
Do you know the first one?
Yeah, I know the first one.
The Ang Lee one?
Yeah. So I'm saying,
That's really bad.
yeah, but no, it is, and I see why they remade that. But like Spider-Man, like it wasn't that bad the first couple times. Now the last one they did, where Spider-Man was cool, and we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Like that is
He's
dumb.
actually a good actor, though.
He's a
I
good
mean,
actor.
It's a bad movie, but
But you can't write Spider-Man as a cool
Andrew
character.
Garfield.
He's not cool.
No,
I
you're
mean,
right. You're right.
I don't want to rehash anything. But the Tobey Maguire one, I thought that was decent. It was, comic booky, like it got the point across. I thought it was good, man.
Tobey Maguire one is the best. I thought was the best superhero movie for the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was
Easily. Easily.
It was probably the one that broke the mold.
Yeah.
Because before that, they were all like really comic booky, like the old Batman. Even though it was great, but they really went comic booky on the old Batmans. When they came out with the Tobey Maguire ones, they really emphasized his powers and how he could do certain things that most people couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, I thought it was really, like you said, really well done for the time. It broke
agreed.
the mold, and I think it set everything else up in motion with adding CGI into comic book characters.
Totally agree. Yeah, it's one of those, you have to have it.
Yeah, you look back now and you're like, it doesn't compare to the movies they make now. But if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have what you have now.
Truth. Real, and if you never had Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park opened it all up. That was
I love
ILM,
Jurassic Park.
That was ILM's really debut into CG.
My favorite scene in that is when he takes off his glasses and he sees the dinosaurs for the first time. He's just like shaking his hand, and he
has to put his head between his legs because he's like losing breath.
Yeah,
he's hyperventilating. So go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Well, I would probably definitely put the second two as Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 3 on there, because I just...
One?
No, one's one of my favorite. Iron Man 2 and Iron
okay.
Man 3, because I just could do without them. Age of Ultron.
Why?
I just thought they got too big with it. I mean, they tried to, like, Avengers was great because they introduced all the characters. I just don't think they did a good job of... It just got too gimmicky. Like, they're going to drop a city out of the sky, and it just... I don't think the Ultron character was done right. Well, I thought, however you want to put it, I thought it could have been done better. From what you told me in the comic books, I thought it could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah, from what I gleaned off the comic books, Ultron was just merciless. There was no James Spader swagger to Ultron. He was just like almost robotic.
Yeah, it was cut and dry.
Yeah, you're a human. You're not doing good. Boom, you're dead. It didn't. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, you're right. Exactly. I don't know the comic book version of Ultron, but what you described and what they put on TV and how they introduced some of the new characters, Vision and all that. I mean, they needed to be introduced. I don't think they did the right way of introducing them.
No, that's legit, man. I
was disappointed. I mean, even in the beginning scenes when they're like going after the last Hydra, remnants of Hydra, I didn't buy it. You know what I mean? Because you just defeated these aliens, and you need all the Avengers to beat Hydra. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like it was pushed.
Yeah,
one of the few Marvel movies that they tried to push it all together and push it out there because they needed to make another Avengers.
That's a good call.
I don't know.
I agree.
That's how I felt about it. That's why I'm worried about this one, because this one is what the Infinity Wars built 10 years of. This is what we've been watching 10 years of Marvel for. And I feel if they don't knock this out of the park, it could set the next 10 years in a bad way.
I'm hoping like hell it becomes my number one.
Yeah.
It
has to be, right?
Yeah.
Because they put all these movies in sequence to build up to this one moment with all these Infinity Stones.
Yep.
And which they haven't even... There's an article I just read. They still haven't talked about where the Soul Stone is.
Oh.
I just read it today. It said after seeing Black Panther, still wondering where the Soul Stone is.
So there's... Yeah. They got to jam a lot into this movie,
and it's only 2 hours, right? I mean, how are you going to jam 34 characters, 36 characters, superheroes, and a Thanos character, and him getting all the gems in one friggin' movie? I hope I'm wrong.
Is there one and two?
No, there's only one. There is another one coming out next year, but there's only one Infinity War. It's
okay.
I don't know how it's doing.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
It does.
So, all right, I think we're all 2 thumbs up with Black Panther. Highly recommend the movie. It's a really well-rounded, well-executed talent pool like nobody's business as far as the acting and writing. And it's a rewatch and then some. So I was thinking about this, and Nick, you had texted me last week. We first started the conversation, just to shift gears just a little bit. We first started the conversation with what do we think that's out in the sci-fi tech universe that has come to fruition, right? Star Trek. We had flip phones. They were a result, no doubt, I believe they were a result of the initial Star Trek communicators, right?
Come on now. Has to.
Right. So, but if we shift gears, and I don't want to get into a Star Trek sci-fi tangent, but if we were to take a, well, we'll see where it goes, right? But take the conversation into like some of the tech, like Wakanda is like this technological marvel, right? What in the Marvel universe, or even just in comic books in general, if you could have at your disposal, would you want? Not powers, talking about accoutrement.
Transporters, man.
Who had transporters?
Oh, well, I was talking Star Trek.
No, let's keep it a little bit in the Marvel universe, superheroes, because we could spend a whole episode on sci-fi.
And we haven't. We're probably should save that for when we actually do a Star Trek episode.
Absolutely.
We haven't done that yet. We should eventually do that soon.
Oh, and I fucked up too because I thought there was only 13 episodes in Star Trek Discovery. Turns out there's 15. So I just watched the last 2.
Was it good?
All right, I'm going to spoil the shit out of this. At the very end, the very last scene, they come toe to toe with the Enterprise.
I heard
with
that.
Pikes, with
Pike?
Captain Pike's Enterprise.
Oh, is this the guy from
What?
the movies?
They just showed.
Now I'm going to watch it.
Oh, you got me, dude.
They just show that it might be worth waiting for the next season.
Do you think they're going to release it on regular CBS? Because
I think they are, but
I'll give it a month or
knows?
two and wait it out. Wait till maybe May when there's nothing to watch in the summertime, and then if they don't release, I'll pay this.
well, I
stupid
have a feeling now that that's over. I think that CBS All Access is going to struggle for oxygen. Because I think all the nerds came out in force and they signed up for that as long as the show was going, and then they're going to cancel their subscription. I did. I canceled it right as soon as I watched that last episode. I canceled, but then I switched over to Hulu to watch Runaways, Marvel's Runaways, which is we can talk about that later.
Oh, shit. That's where it's on Hulu?
Yeah.
What is that about?
So Brian K. Vaughan is the writer that did Runaways, and what the premise is a bunch of teenage kids that are rich kids in California, right? I mean, but their parents are like uber rich, and they find out that their parents are supervillains, and they are empowered with superpowers. So hence the title Runaways. Mm-hmm. And they come across their parents going through this ritual where they actually kill somebody.
Really?
And so they don't know that now they have to deal with their parents being supervillains, them having superpowers, and how do they proceed?
Do they become good? Do they become bad?
Yeah, and they're
Somewhere in
kids,
the middle.
right? And so I've only seen 2 episodes of it, and so far it's coming off to a slow start, but hopefully it'll pay off. So, you motherfuckers, man, I'm going to be spending his money on these Hulus and Netflixes, and then you guys get to reap the benefits of whether they suck or not.
No, that's not
No,
true.
I'm just
I am
kidding.
watching The Man in the High Castle. Jamie got me hooked on that. I was watching it all last night. I think it's pretty good.
I've watched 3 episodes of it, and I think it's good too.
It's just. I still don't know where it's going, but I like it.
Yeah, hopefully it pays off.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to the point. Vibranium suit, Jamie.
I take a vibranium suit.
Maybe some camouflage gear.
I take the camo gear. I take his necklace. I mean, I would like an adamantium skeleton as long as it didn't poison me. If it didn't poison me, I'm down.
Yeah. As long as it wasn't too painful
Dude,
to
Wolverine's a shit.
get. Yeah. You wouldn't have claws, but you'd have adamantium skeleton.
But
I'd have the claws.
Oh, you want the
technically, you
claws,
couldn't
too?
I want
have.
the claws. Why not? Why'd have the skeleton? No claws. What's wrong with you?
You couldn't have that though, technically, because it's a superpower that holds the adamantium back, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, the healing power.
Yeah.
True. Listen to us.
But still, it would be cool.
We get
though.
right into why it
I'll
won't
give you-
work.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit. It would be cool having that.
What about Iron Man supersuit?
That would be me.
Yeah.
I would totally want that too.
That's pretty
I want the
badass.
vibranium version though when it comes out.
Well, how about this? Would you give up an arm to have a Bucky vibranium arm?
Yeah. You kidding me? Why even ask me that? Yeah.
But you got to switch, man, because if, that little me time, you might hurt yourself.
Well, I just won't use that arm. Dude.
You'll go with
You
the
might squish
stranger.
that.
Yeah, and if I got like a serious metal arm, who needs like my own hand, dude?
Yeah.
I'm probably slaying it. You know what I mean? I'm laying it down.
That's the thing. You can walk out of out of your little special time with your dick in your hand.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I can probably get a lot of,
Go ahead.
a little side action.
No, you need the claws hands. You need Ulysses' claws hand, where it would transform into something that's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
more effective.
yeah. Can I have
one
this
with
turn into like a pocket pussy, please? A fleshlight, if you will.
So Iron Man suit, Nick.
Yeah, I don't think I can't think of anything else that really comes out that's like badass besides Iron Man suit and Black Panther suit.
What about the Loki Pokey stick that can?
But that had an Infinity Stone in it.
That's okay. It's wide open. You touch somebody and get them to do what you want to do.
I don't want to carry that damn thing though.
Yeah, but I would
Could you
use
make
it on
like
my
a little
kids.
one, like look.
I'd be like, clean up your goddamn room.
No. I think that's it for me. What about you?
So there's a lot of cool stuff out there. All right, so what if it's not even just technology? What if it's just their gadgets and like tools, like Thor's hammer,
Well, if we're including
Dr.
that, who wouldn't want Thor's hammer, dude? Create lightning and all that?
Doctor
Put a
Strange's
smackdown? Cloak?
his cloak, his cape, but then you'd have to wear a cape.
Yeah, and it's kind of douchey too because it's like the collar's like extra long. Like
Yeah,
You can hover with it, though.
If it became fashionable, say all the kids, just like not too long ago, the kids were dropping their drawers and having their undies hanging.
Oh, like in
top.
Back to the Future where they pull the pockets out and they have their pockets out.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Like, that's like
so,
a fad.
So if capes came back, would you rock a cape?
I'm going to say no, but I'm winking at John right now. I mean, no.
Yeah, capes are cool, man.
Yeah.
But they're just you'd be a whack job. Yeah. So I think I'm with you, Nick. I mean, Iron Man suit. It's just
so cool.
Come on.
Yeah, fly around, that thing would be badass, dude.
And you got Jarvis right there, so he can tell you anything you want to know at any time. I mean, Jarvis kicks Google's dick in the dirt.
Yeah, you got that right.
Or Alexa. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anything else on Black Panther? I mean, I think we thoroughly went through it. It's again, 2 thumbs up. It's a kick-ass movie. I'm totally stoked for how it plays out in Avengers: Infinity War.
That's the only thing I wish the end credit scene had a little more of a nugget for Infinity War. I was hoping,
you were thinking they were going to come out with like show you a stone or something like that,
or just something about like a nugget of Thanos. So because I mean, seeing Bucky, if you're like I said earlier, if you're a fan of the movies, you already knew he was there. I mean,
Yeah.
I get what they called him, and it's a nod to the comics, but we already knew he was there. I waited 10 extra minutes to find out that Bucky was there. I mean, I already knew that.
You know what I thought they were going to do? Because they kept on bringing up them mining vibranium. I thought that they were going to hit one of the stones. I thought they were going to hit like that soul stone.
That's
would
a
have
good
been-
point.
That's exactly what I thought that was going to
Because
happen.
the meteorite did come from outside.
Exactly, and I thought that is where it spawned from.
Yeah, that Bucky is not the plot hole you want to fill, knowing that there's a whole stone out there that's unaccounted
Or where
for.
that plant was growing from, because when he ingested the plant, he almost like his soul went somewhere. Wouldn't it have been cool if the soul stone was underneath the bed of the plants where it was growing?
So what color is the soul stone?
I don't know.
Is it purple?
No, there's already a purple. That's the
purple
powers.
was the
Power.
the
Those
purple
are
one
Guardians.
was the
Guardians. That's
yep.
right. That's right.
I think it's like a
or is it blue?
White? No, white is the Tesseract. Blue is the Tesseract.
That's right. I'm trying to tie it to
I think
that.
it's green, isn't it? Is it
No,
green?
that's the time one from
Yeah,
Doctor
you're
Strange,
right, you're
No, that's in the
which is another great
Amulet of
movie we never
Agamemnon.
mentioned, but I wasn't top 5.
red. What we got for red?
No,
What's-
that's the Reality Stone.
That's the one from Thor. That's the ether.
And then the Mind Stone is the
It's
one.
the yellow one.
is
yellow
the
one. Yep.
So the Soul Stone's white.
Okay.
I would think it's white, right?
But that's a great call, right? And I think I feel like we talked about this before. Like that's going to be how they tie it together with why they're because trailer for Infinity War, they're showing them in Wakanda. I don't care what you say.
They're showing them all over the place.
but
everywhere.
it looks because the Wakanda soldiers are there, right?
So maybe the Soul Stone, maybe Jamie's right to an extent, or I am. It's somewhere in Wakanda.
yeah,
It would make a lot of sense. how
and
that
that's where
ties in.
Landfall is.
Right.
for Thanos.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I thought it was New York because they're creating that ring thing. I thought he was just going to come.
Oh, that's right, Peter Parker. Who knows, man? They know how to zig and zag to get you off the trail. Marvel does.
But this means the next 10 years. I firmly believe that with Marvel, like how Iron Man set it up and even Avengers set up the rest. If they don't knock this out of the park, they'll still get money, but it's not going to be I feel it's going to be as good. They really have to put it all together.
Oh, you're setting it up for a Jedi setup.
No, I don't want to do that.
I see.
I have more trust in Marvel than I do Disney.
I see what you're doing.
But you have to admit, though, they set this up for 10 years.
Yeah, it's a lot to live up to, is all I'm going to say. It's going to be a lot to live up to.
Right.
All the characters, all the time invested. You're going to have a lot of people, like, ready to go, so to speak.
Do they have a runtime yet on the
on how long it's going to be?
Yeah. I don't think they released.
I don't see how they don't do it like
1 and 2,
3 hours. Well, it's going to have to be split. I don't see how they're going to do it in one movie. That's like impossible.
I heard it was one movie.
That is not going to be
We can
possible.
research that.
Yeah, we'll take a look.
Especially if you think about it too. From a money standpoint, they're not going to do it in one movie. There's no way.
I know
hell.
there's one next year, but it's
they're
not
going to
supposed to be called
cash in
Infinity War.
and split that up. They're
Right.
gonna they want it. Like we're talking financially.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, but you gotta not do what they did with The Hobbit, right? Because with The Hobbit, they turned it into 3 movies, and you were like,
Oh yeah, they could have done it in like 1 or 2.
yeah,
Or the end of Harry Potter where they had the Deathly Hallows. It's like, dude, really? Do we need to split this up in 2?
I don't know. Well, that Deathly
it's
Hallows,
an obvious money grab.
yeah, that was, but they did stretch it out like in a good way. I thought. I mean, they gave you a little bit more backstory
They
and stuff
did.
like that.
They did. I just
Where, like he was saying in The Hobbit, I mean, you could have lived without, like, you could have got like 3 hours of your life back. You know what I mean?
So I was going to look up what the runtime was and
we
if they had a
can.
part 2, but that's okay. So I think we're pretty good, folks. We can put a pin in Black Panther. Again, highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, sorry we spoiled all kinds of shit for you. But if you haven't seen it, go see it. And if you've seen it, go see it again because it's definitely worth a rewatch. And that's what I tend to do. I'll see it with the guys, and then I'll see it with my kids. And
that's how you rate these things anymore.
Yeah.
Is it worth seeing a second time? And is it going to come on TV? Will I put it on when it's on TV, or if it's I'll move on? That's what we talk about all the time. Whether how you really enjoy it. That's how you really know you enjoyed the movie because you'll put it back on.
absolutely.
I could say I liked the movie, but I probably will never watch that movie again.
Mm-hmm.
But movies like these, I'll watch Black Panther again. Probably watch it like 10, 15 times again.
You haven't rewatched Iron Man 3? No. How about no, I'm not going to I'm not going to tease that Star Wars thing again.
What's that? The new one that we just saw?
As far as like rewatching stuff.
Although the Solo, not to get too much, I know we're ending this. The
No, it's
Solo trailer, the more and more I watch it, the more and more I'm getting excited about it.
Me too.
The first
I'm not going to cash in on like people already talking shit on it. You
No,
know what I mean?
I don't care.
Because people blew up the Jedi, the Last Jedi, like it was like the best thing that was going to
since Empire.
that we were ever going to see, and it fucking sucked. So, I mean, if they're bashing this, maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'll get the exact opposite.
And then I heard a story that actually Harrison Ford was actually on set for a lot of the movie and trying to help. What the hell is this?
The new actor, I can't.
The new actor.
Probably trying to set down his like nuances.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
mannerisms, that's what they were talking about. He was involved in a lot, which bodes well. And like I said, I like the supporting cast, everybody in it.
So I just Wikipedia'd real quick. So in May 2019, it's Avengers, an untitled Avengers movie.
So it might be just cleaning up.
Yeah. And it's got the Russo brothers who directed Captain America,
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Those dudes, man. I mean, anyway. So
The exact opposite of Michael Bay.
yeah, the anti-Bay. I'm going to start a Twitter handle that says at anti-Bay. So that does it for this week's episode of the Nick, Jon, and Jamie show. Join us next week while we get into some more geeky shenanigans. Until then, enjoy your week, everybody.